the Hogan here, VIP Boxing down at Headlands Boxing Gym in Hartlepool, where I'm talking to Jason Cumming. How are you doing, Jason?
Oh, I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing really well, mate. I'm smiling because I'm thinking back to your debut, which was on our show last year at Rainton Arena, where you returned for fight number 3. But we should be calling you the KO Kid, because you've had 2 fights and 2 stoppages against kids that don't normally get stopped.
No, especially, I think his name's Volis.
I'm glad you're saying it, mate.
Yeah.
Simos.
Simos Volis.
In fact, he was on our show a few weeks ago. Silly hard man. I think he's on about 135 fights now. But you caught him early in the second round with a sweet body shot, and he wasn't getting up, was he?
No, it was a punch-perfect performance. I thought, I've watched the video 1,000 times now, and it was one of them that we've practiced in training over and over again, and it seemed to work on fight night.
Well, it was a dream debut, wasn't it? I think Louise, did she do some interviews with you afterwards?
Louise done an interview afterwards,
she was, I think she said, a punch-perfect performance.
Yeah.
It was a sweet shot. And then your next time out, you fought a kid who I know very well. He trains at Elite in Bolton, Kieran McAfee. And he retired, was it end of the 3rd round?
Yeah, after the 3rd round, yeah.
Yeah. What happened there?
It was a bit. It wasn't as clean as I'd like the fight to be, but it was a tough fight, and it was going well. I was flinging a lot of punches, but I didn't know he'd retired in the corner, so it was a funny one really. So my coach said, he said after the 3rd round, he said, "Oh, well done." I said, well done. I said, "Pete, we only halfway through the fight," and he said, "Oh no, they've threw the towel in." So I didn't actually know I'd won myself until he said. But yeah, it was a tough fight, and I spoke to him after the fight. We sat down for.
Oh, he's a great kid.
Oh yeah.
Well, say that he's not a kid. I think he's about 31, 32 now, Kieran. So, but you are a kid. Are you 22 now? 22?
No, I've just turned 21. Literally
just turned 21.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So you are a baby, mate.
Oh, I know, compared to Kieran, yeah.
Well, let's find out about you then, because we're in the Headlands gym in Hartlepool, which is where you're from, but you don't box out of this gym, do you?
No, I box out at Hartlepool Elite. It's located at the other side of the town, in a trading estate building, where Halfords is actually.
All right, okay.
And that's run by Wayne McCart and Paul Barnes.
And was that where you trained as an amateur as well? Or?
Yeah. That's where I trained as an amateur, and a coach came along with a couple of pros. One you might know, he trained a pro called Jordan Ellison.
Oh yeah, I know Jordan Ellison, yeah.
He trained Jordan, and
regular on our shows.
Yeah, and he has Greg O'Neill now.
Ah, right, yeah. Well, I'm trying to get hold of Greg, because he's fighting on the show, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a great story. I mean, he's fought everyone, hasn't he, already?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, he's doing really well, actually. His life's been up and down. He could tell you stories all day. But yeah, and my coach now, he come along to the gym just the deal was he helps out in the amateurs.
Yeah.
And he
uses the gym for his pros.
For his pros, yeah. And I mean, he took a shine to me, because he was going to retire actually. Mm-hmm. And he said he's going to see me and Greg all the way through, so he's staying in the game for me.
So what was your amateur career like then?
It wasn't I think I've been boxing now 10 years, and I think I've had 19-20 fights.
Yeah. I
won about 12.
Right, so over 50%,
yeah.
55%.
It's not as active as I wanted to be as an amateur, but it was one of them things. But yeah, not the best amateur careers compared to when you look at these other kids, but my style never suited the amateurs. I wasn't this punch-perfect, one-punch move person. I wanted to be in the face at them.
Yeah.
And I've followed that through the pros, and That's why my nickname's the Engine, because I just...
But I was just going to say that because I was talking to John Stubbs, who runs this place here, and when we brought your name up, I was saying you was coming down here, they went, God, exactly what you just said, some engine on that kid.
Yeah.
So fitness is a big part of your game then?
Yeah. I'm a very fun-for fighter. Like, I'm one of these people, like, I have to put 100% into everything.
We should do in boxing.
Yeah. But it's not just in boxing, I do it in life.
Yeah.
And when it comes to me boxing, I do put 100% in.
Well, I'm talking to you now, it's about 4:30. You said you came straight from work, so what do you do?
I've got an apprenticeship as an electrical technician
right.
at the minute on the gas plant.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that, that's like 7:30 till 4, and then I go straight to the gym from work.
Yeah. Like I say, I don't think it does you any harm while you're in those learning fights, because these what these are, the learning fights. But once you go past 8 rounds, I think it's very hard to compete with everyone else when you're working full time. But hopefully, if you keep doing what you're doing and you get to those 8 rounds, you won't have to be working full time because that's really good early on in your career. 2 fights, 2 KOs, well, or 2 stoppages, let's say.
Yeah, it's very good. That's the end goal. That's what I want to do. I do want to just end in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd love to do that full time, and I think that's the dream for me and a lot of boxers at this stage in their career.
Of course it is. But I mean, you've now over a year now you've been a pro. How are you feeling it? How are you finding it? Like you said, you know, you always said you was conducive to being a professional. Your style always suited that. Is there any changes that you've had to do from when you hung up the vest?
It's going to sound daft, but learn to relax. That was the big thing. The coach has to reel me in, tell me not to train. Like, for a lot of people, it's the other way around. But
for me, it was.
yeah. If it wasn't for my coach, I'd train 3 times a day, and he's like, calm down.
Yeah, because you must admit, like I say, I don't think it matters over the 4 rounds, but when you start going into those longer distances, then rest is just as important as training, isn't it? Because you've got to have the fuel to do. But it's a tough sport, boxing, and there's so many contributing factors to succeeding in it. But where would you like to, you know, in a couple of years' time, where would you like to be?
Now, a lot of people won't agree with me, but this is, I'd love to be world champ. You know what? I'm going to rephrase that, because there's a guy called Paul Goth who said I need to stop changing my wants to must, so I must be world champion. Yeah. By the end of my career, I must be world champion.
Well, listen, you've got to dream big, haven't you?
Yeah.
And it all starts with these little baby steps that you're doing now. Is this going to be a little 4-rounder still on our show?
No, it's 6-rounder.
Oh, so only your 3rd fight, you're stepping up to 6?
It was meant to be 6 my last fight as well.
Oh, was it?
So my 2nd fight was a 6-rounder, but...
And do you think that'll always suit you because of what you were talking about, this engine of yours? You think the extra rounds are going to make it easier for you?
Yeah, it does.
If you get to do them?
Yeah, it seems to be the...
Not competed for yet.
No, I haven't. With the shorter rounds, it's very easy for people to get through them, I think. But
well, they're very good at getting... the men on the road who've had 100+ fights, most of them can get through those 4 rounds.
Yeah.
But those 6 rounds, it's hard because if you get to the 3rd round and it's been a hard night's work for them, they know they've only got 1 round left when they do the 4, but they're only halfway through the fight if you put it on them, and that's what you tend to do, don't you? You put it on people.
Especially the way I fight, when it gets to the 3rd and 4th round, and I'm thinking, God, this kid's not stopping. Then they start rethinking. That's where I get them mentally, because people, coaches especially, they tell the fighter, I can't keep this up, you can't keep this up.
But you can.
But I can, yeah. And even in sparring, when we do 6 and 8, like, sometimes we do where like I'll do 4 rounds with one opponent, 4 rounds with another.
Yeah.
Just because not many people can stay with me for
the whole 8 rounds.
Yeah.
Which is what you should be doing. If you're preparing for a 6 rounder, you shouldn't be doing 10. You shouldn't be doing more than that. You do just that 1, 2 more than you need to.
Yeah.
And then when you get to 10 rounders and 12 rounders, then you do what you have to do then. But it's no good preparing for them when you're still fighting 4s and 6s, is it?
No, this is what Peter said, my coach. He said, there's no point in me. If you spar 10 rounds, you're going to get used to that 10 round pace, yeah.
Yeah.
And he
so
said,
he slows it, and that's no good.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he'll have to reel me in a bit more when we go to 10 rounds. I'll need to slow down that little bit more.
In fact, that's perfect because your coach, you said he teaches Jordan Ellison, Jordan Ellison. He got a win over a good friend of mine, Sean Dodd, who'd been the former Commonwealth champion. And I think he was getting ready for a 10-rounder. And that fight fell through, and so your mate turned up, Jordan Ellison, and it was just 6 rounds.
Yeah.
And he fought it at a 10-round pace and gave the first 3 rounds to Jordan Ellison. And Jordan got the win. And I'm not disputing it. It was a very close fight. You know, whether Sean got it, whether Jordan should have got it. It doesn't matter. Jordan got it. And that's because he's a 10-round fighter.
Yeah.
And he was training for a 10-rounder, and it's different. So you've got to prepare for what you're fighting.
Exactly.
Which is so good. So how's preparations gone for this show? This fight?
It's been the best one so far.
Yeah.
I know it's only my 3rd one, so I haven't got a lot to deal with. But this time we flew out to America, which one of my sponsors funded, actually, Paul Goff. He lives out in Florida, Orlando, Florida, and he rang, like, my coach works for him, and they're very good friends. And he rang my coach and said, do you want to come out to America? And he said, I can't. I've got Jason in an upcoming fight. And he said, do you know what? I'll fly you both out and you can do some training out here. And it was a totally different atmosphere in the gyms and training out there.
Did you spar with anyone over there? Anyone that we know?
So, my coach can't use Google or the internet, so he says to me, Jason, you organise a sparring. And me being me, found the best person I could find in the area. He'd had 12 fights, 12 wins, 9 knockouts. Ranked number 30 in America. And honestly, he was a very good kid. Hard puncher, but again, we were meant to do. We were doing 6, and it got to the 5th, and you could see he was like flagging. He was starting to feel it, but the gyms out there they're so different.
Well, first of all, the heat, I presume it would have been really hot over there, so how did you cope with that?
That just another different experience. I was soaked through, but I thought with the temperature I might not be able to keep the same pace, but it just seemed to flow. Honestly, I really loved it out there.
Yeah.
And I'd love to go back there. From literally in a ring like this, there's people stood and shouting things in, and it was like a fight.
Yeah.
And it was. And
but it's always good when you spar someone else's. I know this isn't your gym, but when you spar someone in your own gym, you're comfortable. You're in your comfort zone. You know.
It was
but if you go to someone else's, yes. So if you want to replicate fight night, that's the best way of replicating it, because you get those feelings, and you the more times you have those feelings, the more times you find out what are the right feelings, because you have not enough nerves. You go in there totally nervous less, and you underperform. Too nervous, you underperform. You just have that right feeling, and the more times you do it, the more times you find out what that right feeling is, isn't it?
Yeah, I strive off a challenge. So when I walked in, you could see the atmosphere, and you could see we stuck out really. Everyone was looking. It was an intimidating gym, and people weren't very talking to you. And after I sparred, I've never gained more respect in the gym. The people coming up to me saying, wow, you just don't stop punching. I sat down with the lad I'd sparred and spoke to him for 20, 30 minutes. And the coach come up to my coach and he said, when you're back in England, he said, that's your home. He said, when you come here, this is your home. So
you made friends already then?
Yeah. So hopefully we're going to try and get back out next year for another training, because it was a total...
What's your weight then? Are you featherweight, super featherweight? What's your lightweight? I mean, because Simos fought, it's all those. So
like at the minute, with the same day weighing, I fight at super feather.
Yeah.
But if it was title fight,
featherweight.
Yeah.
So are you a name to watch out for?
You what, sorry?
Are you a name to watch out for then?
Oh, I'd like to believe so, yeah.
People are going to have to watch out for you. And are you going to steal the show like you did the last time you was on ours?
Well, I'm going to do my best to steal the show, yeah.
Listen, Jason, I wish you all the best. I know camp's near enough done and everything now, so it's just a matter of keeping yourself focused because it's a week on Saturday. But good luck, and hopefully we'll have someone down there chatting to you afterwards. Are they going to be saying win number 3?
Yeah, win number 3 by KO, 100%.
Listen, Jason, you take care. We'll see you on the 26th, mate.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.